Okay, we are going to go over the Brody Massage 6-in-1 liquid dermabrasion machine, as you can see here. Now this machine has 6 functions, which is the liquid dermabrasion, ultrasound, cold hammer, skin scrubber, RF, high frequency, and then you have the sprayer tool. Now, first thing on setting this thing up, it's pretty simple as far as that goes. You just have to put this piece on, which has 4 screws, which you just do like that, and it will be at this angle, as you can see here. The tanks will generally be screwed on, but you're gonna have to take those off to put water in this back one here on the right. That is gonna be your tank D, which you can see here on this dial. So when you're using the skin sprayer tool, you wanna make sure that you're on dial D for the select option. And then as far as the tanks go, they're pretty self-explanatory. They have A, B, and C here, which you basically just press this button and you pull these out, and then you can fill them up with basically distilled water and a very little bit of serums, which you can get serums at brodymassage.com. And you're just going to use a very small amount, which you can scale up and down, and then mix the rest up with the distilled water. Obviously you can make it weaker for people with sensitive skin, and basically just switch from the different tanks when you're doing different treatments during that session. Now, as far as getting everything plugged in, everything is labeled, so just make sure that you put the right head in the right label. It's like we went over which head was what, so just make sure that you got that connected properly, and they'll have certain grooves that just fit in perfectly for that. Now, let's just kind of go over some of the tools here. So the first thing is going to be the liquid dermabrasion, which will be this head here, which you can actually turn on either from the machine or you can do it right here from the head, okay? And so mainly this machine here kind of needs to first get a suction to start getting some of the liquid to come out. Think of it as a hose, because it has to feed through the line here. And as you can see, you've got the liquid starting to come out. And then, this will give you even way more suction on your face. And that's a lot of liquid, so I can turn that down. And it could take a little bit to get to this point, for you to be able to get the, I have a little bit too much liquid. But to get to this point where the liquid's actually coming out, because you need to first kind of make sure that the line has been cleared through. And you could do that basically by just setting the machine on your skin and just kind of set it there to just get that suction out. You can turn down your suction here, turn up your liquid to be able to disperse, but basically you're going to find a happy medium with these settings to where you'll get the perfect amount of suction and the perfect amount of liquid to kind of come out. So this way you can do the treatment as you need to. But you got to play with those heads, and at first it's going to take a second to kind of get that proper suction to take place, because you really need to just get the lines cleared with the oxygen, so this way you get the oxygen and the liquid working together. So that's pretty much how you work that head. And then you have different tips here, which just basically just pop on and off. Just kind of put them on like that. And next we'll go with the cold hammer here, which this is kind of like a high frequency, or sorry, this is the ultrasound, I apologize. And this machine, same thing, you have the ability to turn on the machine here, And then you can actually turn up the mode. If you want it high frequency, you can do that here and get more of a ultrasound effect. So you can turn up the intensity. Now, and you can always test these, put a little bit of a drop of water on there and you'll get a little bit of a reaction. And then the cold hammer, a similar effect. You want to just make sure when you're setting these up not to tangle up like I did here, and you can actually set them up a little bit nicer so they're easier to get to. This is a cold hammer. So you can go to this head here. You can hear this one has a little bit of a hum to it. Okay, and then we can go to the skin scrubber tool. Now this one, basically, definitely want to do a better job than that. I just set this up real quick. Okay, with the skin scrubber tool, you'll have this plastic cover here, protector. And with this, you actually have 2 sensors here. Okay, so we can put on the skin scrubber and put on the intensity, and you can actually do them either way, but let's say you do this way, and what you can do, you can also test the frequency by putting a little bit of a water on there just to make sure you're getting a reaction. It's a very, slight. I'm starting to feel a little bit. Okay. And then we can go over the high frequency RF machine. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, you'll definitely feel a there. Okay. And then the sprayer tool, generally you want to keep this head. This one got really pushed around here. Okay. So with this one, I know that there's other, with this head here, this one actually just pops off here. You just kind of wiggle it, and then that just kind of comes off like that. And this one has a preset needle inside here. Some of them you have to install that, but this one you do not. And then you just want to kind of find, there's some grooves here on the edge of this that just kind of go in to that spot just to make sure it's in. Okay. It definitely looks straight and looks good. And then we can turn this on. Okay. And this will be like a nano mist. Oops. One thing I forgot is to make sure that this is on tank D. So this right here. I'll start to feel this nano mist. It's really cool. It's just like this really cold air almost. nice, and this would feel really good on somebody's face. And this piece right here should just, it goes in like that, like it should just fit into this little groove and you're good to go. And that's, oops, that's everything with this machine. And yeah, and if you want to get this machine, you can get it at brodymassage.com. Thank you. Another thing to mention is that when you're using the liquid dermabrasion machine, you want to make sure that you put cleaning solution in these tanks, obviously after you clean them out with whatever you've been using them with, and you run that cleaning solution through the line. So this way you clean this line, for example. You're running just distilled water in there so you're not getting debris, but debris comes back through that line and goes into the waste tank in the back. So what you want to make sure is that you keep these lines clean. So you want to clean these lines daily, whether you use the cleaning solution that brodymassage.com has, or if you have your own cleaning solution, but you need to run that through this system so this way you can keep this line clean. Otherwise you'll start getting sensor beeping and things like that because your lines are getting corroded, and by the quality of your water as well, that can leave corrosion. So if you're using a good distilled water, then you won't have those kind of issues. So.